I'm Samantha Brown, professional organizer, decluttering specialist, and business coach. I created Pro Organizers Coach podcast to empower you to reach new heights in your business. I am on a mission to build a supportive sisterhood of passionate professional organizers. So, whether you're a seasoned pro or you're just getting started, this podcast is for you. Hey, friends, welcome back to the Pro Organizers Coach podcast and YouTube channel. I'm so excited for today's episode. I have Miss Leslie Cuti. She has been on the podcast 2 or 3 times now. She's a member of our PSC group coaching community, and she's one of my favorite people to talk to. And so, thank you, Leslie, for being back on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited.
Me too. So I think where we kind of go from here is first maybe tell everyone the name of your business, where you're located, all that, just because that's always good to know. But then I think we kind of go into where we left off last year, which when we left off last year, it was your 1 year anniversary of your organizing business. You had just retired your full-time job. And so you kind of hit the ground running, going into like last summer and then that kind of thing. And then as we kind of go through the stages of what's happened, I definitely want to talk about kind of how you have figured out a signature coaching program. You've niched down a little, like you've gotten very specific. And I think that the reason I wanted to bring that up is because I think a lot of us think, oh, I need a niche from the beginning. And that is not the case whatsoever. Yes, from the beginning, you need kind of the steps you take your clients through and those types of things. But as you go, you figure out more of what you love and what your people need. And so I think it's going to be super interesting to figure all that out with you. But yeah, tell everyone about your business and then we'll go back to where everything kind of tipped off from last time.
Okay. I'm Leslie Cuti, and I'm the owner of Organizing with Leslie. I'm in Louisiana, so that's where the Southern drawl is coming from in my voice. I started my business as a side hustle while I was still in full-time education. I started in January of 2023. I launched my business. It was New Year's Day, and I was like, you know what better time than now to go ahead and start this. So I did that day. I worked 18 months in the business as a side hustle, growing, learning as much as I could learn about the business side of things. Like the organizing piece came fairly easy to me. The business side, I had no clue. So luckily I found you, and that set my foundation and got a lot of things rolling and in the right direction. In June of this past year, 2024, I retired from education after 25 years and started my business full time and really spent the summer like digging really deep, building a lot of systems and a lot of repetitive things that I could do that I knew would drive my business if I could just do them consistently. And if I just spent the time doing it while I didn't have a lot of clients to work with at the time. So I spent the summer doing that. And then since the summer, I mean, things had just blossomed. We always talk about in POC planting the seeds. I planted lots of seeds, and many of them that I didn't even realize I was planting have blossomed and blossomed in very big ways. But I will tell you, the biggest thing that I can say about that is it was consistency. I don't have a magic trick. And I'm not to my end destination where I want to be with my business either. But the consistency has definitely driven me to where I am, and I'm very happy with where I am right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when you spent the summer doing some stuff, and what I love of what you were saying are the systems, right? So like you start your business, you figure out like organizing's easier for you. We have to figure out our business stuff. But then there comes this point where it's like, okay, content. Like, how do I create content that my clients are actually going to, know that I'm speaking to them and that they're going to be like, oh, she's my person. And so talk a little bit about that because you come from the education background. So obviously it came a little more naturally to you than it probably does most of us. But where did you kind of start with that last summer? Like, what was the goal and what you were creating?
So over the summer, I was like, okay, who are the people that I need to talk to? Who can I help that's got some kind of need coming up? Well, in June, if you're in the education world, the first thing you think of when you get out of school is starting school again. So I spent the summer building reels and building a freebie for to get people onto my email list that would set them up for success going back to school. I didn't really push any of that out until probably late June or early July. I gave people some time to have a little summer too, but I knew what I wanted to create and I started building that. And then I pushed out the freebie. The freebie got a lot of traffic. And then a little bit later after the freebie, I got a message from somebody who here's the cool thing about social media. I know who my followers are. I mean, I don't know the people, most of them, but I see who's following. I see who's liking. You don't always see the people who are just lurking back in the background. They're not liking, they're not commenting, but they're there. Well, I got a message from someone that would have been a lurker. She was not letting me know she was there unless I had scrolled through my follower list, right? And the message basically was, thank you so much for your free content. Thank you for everything you did to build the back to school stuff. I have implemented every single thing and it has changed the way we do our mornings going to school. And she went on, and I was like, whoa, okay. There's something to this. Like I did it because I knew people needed it because I come from the education world. I know what it looks like to get people ready to go to school, and it's a lot. I also did it selfishly to build my email list. I wanted to put something out that people would gravitate toward and then be on my email list so that I could continue to nurture them. What I didn't expect was that it would be a profound effect on even just one person. For them to DM me and tell me, you don't know me, I've been following you, this is how it's changed my life. I can only imagine what it's like to work with you as a paid client and not just get your free stuff. So the wheels kind of started turning. I'm like, okay, there's something to this. I wonder if I could work with people and like coach them in lifestyle organization, not just their physical space, because it does all go together. If I open my pantry and there's a ton of food, but I have no plan of what I'm going to cook and I have no idea how much time it's going to take me, the organized, beautiful pantry is only one piece. The other part is still going to cause me stress, right? Likewise, if I have the meal plan in place and I know what I'm going to cook, I open the pantry, it's a disaster. I can't even tell if I have the ingredients. That they all go together. So I started just thinking, okay, there's got to be a piece of this where I can coach people, where I can help people build the total package, if you will, of how to live a lifestyle that is organized. So, long story short, maybe it wasn't short, but this lady and I ended up connecting later, and she became my very first coaching client. And we have been coaching on how to build out a lifestyle that works for her unique life because none of us live the same life. We have lots of factors that are different. And from there, I realized there is a huge potential to really impact people's lives by coaching them in areas that they need coaching in that have to do with organizing and not just their physical space, but also calendars, meal planning, time management, how to tackle a to-do list that is overwhelming. Just you name it, we're doing it. So since then, I have launched my lifestyle organization coaching program and have several clients that I'm working with. And one of them is completely virtual. The other two are sometimes we're face to face and sometimes we're virtual. It just depends on what the need is. So, and I am absolutely loving that because I'm seeing true transformation. We can talk about physical space and we can work on that too. Some of these clients I do work with their physical space, but we're seeing an overall transformation of just the lifestyle itself is becoming more organized and more within control and not feeling so chaotic and overwhelming.
Yeah, no, and that's beautiful. And like my mind's going 10 different places because I have so many questions. So, first off, was I did want to commend you on the fact that because for me, and I don't know if anyone heard this or not, but I think I was talking to the girl that I interviewed about frameworks. And, she was talking to me about like, well, how do you create a framework to where you can teach other people to do what you do? And I'm like, no, no, no. I don't want to teach them to do what I do, where I pair like, my faith, life coaching, and organizing that to help people declutter. That's what I do. But I also know every other organizer has those other pieces to create their unique service that, would help them stand out and help them bring in the right clients that truly light them up when they're helping them. And it's not just, oh, it's another day at, having to go to work. And so I love that you started seeing that. I also remember one of your reels, I think it was maybe, where you had shared a testimonial from one of your clients. And she had said that just off your freebie, that's what it was. It was your 5-day drip email freebie that you do. And that she, just by implementing her bedtime routine to get ready for the next morning, like something as simple as that, has helped change her life. So
I forgot about that one.
yeah. Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about, so like, you finally decide, okay, this is what, this is what I need to do. I'm trying to figure out what it looks like. And then you kind of get to a point where you're like, okay, it's all of the extra pieces, right? It's not just the organizing, it's all the other stuff that goes with it. How did you figure out, okay, this is what my freebie is going to be? This is what, like, my email. Do you do different freebies at different times? Do you run the same one all the time?
So all of that. I have run the same freebies consistently, but I've also at different times of the year turned on. So like I turned on the back to school freebie sometime over the summer. I've turned it off now. It will turn back on, next. It's not relevant right now. The content is relevant, but what I've called it and how I presented it is more about going back to school. In the fall, I did run kind of a fall freebie. It didn't really get anything. That's okay. It's a learned lesson, right? I can either
Right.
revamp it or do something different or not do anything at all in the fall. It doesn't matter. Then I did the drip email series, which I forgot about the client. Well, she's not even a client. She's in my ecosystem through social media, but she uses my content. And she had messaged me and told me like she doesn't have under eye circles anymore because I've just started putting those things in place. And I got a message from her not too long ago that she has kind of stopped doing those things and realized what was causing disruption and has gone back to putting those things in place, right? I have a freebie going right now that is called Ready, Set, Reset. And it's just about how to do a weekend and a nightly reset to set yourself up for success the next day. That one has gotten a lot of traction lately. And I think it's because people are looking for, how do I get out of the door in the morning and continue to have my sanity and not look like I have pulled my hair out? And there are ways to do that, but that comes with lifestyle organizing, not just knowing where the book stack is. There's a lot of things that go along with that. And so it's setting that piece. And I built that freebie because I wanted people to use those tips and strategies, to see that they do work, and to know that there's more that also works, right? And that all of that is customizable for them and their lifestyle. So yeah, that's the freebie that I've got going right now.
That's awesome. And I bring that up because I think for a lot of us, as organizers, we forget about the freebie part. I know I did, because I was like, oh, well, I'm not really ready to do an email list, because that seems like this whole other ecosystem that I'm not ready to learn. And it seemed so much harder than it actually is. But I remember being in that place. I'm like, I don't want, no, I'm like, I don't know. I didn't want to do emails. So in my mind, I was like, well, I can't have a freebie because I'm not doing emails. Not true. You can still do a freebie and then just have those emails kind of sitting there for when you are ready to start doing email marketing. And whether it's a monthly newsletter, whether it's a whatever, it doesn't have to be overly complicated.
Right.
And I love that, a lot of the members in POC, like, I'm seeing the growth, and like even Jen has now implemented like a monthly newsletter, and, just the small steps that we're each taking. And I think as not perfectionists, but as organizers, we kind of have that feeling of like, oh, I have to have the whole thing mapped out before I can even start at, number one. And what I love about what you do is you're like, I think I know what it might be, but let me just see what the market wants. And then you look at your numbers and you figure out, okay, this did work, or, oh, that didn't work. And like you said, if it didn't work, okay, do I rename it? Do I revamp it? Or do I just forget about it and keep on moving?
Mm-hmm.
So I love that. And I love the fact that it is lighting you.
Yeah.
Like, you are the happiest that I have seen you probably the whole time I've known you.
Yes.
So
It is the piece of organizing that I am most called to. I believe that with everything in me. And I will be honest, I don't know. I'm sure there's other people doing this. I'm sure there are. I've not encountered them. So I kind of made up what I thought I wanted to do and what it was supposed to look like. And I did go to life coach school, and I got that to build on my skills that I already had so that I had a life coaching piece too. And I maybe I'm doing it right, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I don't know because I don't know what anybody else is doing. And I think that's what's really cool about what we do too. It doesn't matter what
Mhm.
everybody else is doing. Do what you need to do that feels good to you, that's helping the people that you are called to help. And so, yeah, it does light me up. And I do most of my coaching on Thursdays, and I look so forward to Thursday so that I can get online or go meet with a person face to face and we can really chat about what's going on and how can I help them solve their problems with organizing. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah. And I think also for a lot of us, right? Because I see in like the different Facebook groups and, we all see all the different chats and everything sometimes. But I feel like for a lot of us, we think, first off, declutter and organizing are one thing. Like it's just organizing. And then we also think, oh, I can add this service called virtual organizing and it's just virtual organizing. But it's not that at all. Those are like the top, like the basics, actually the bottom. Those are the basics of the basics of what we do. And that's why I love trying to help other people figure out kind of like their secret sauce, their unique genius, because once you start actually going into that of like, forget what you think it should look like. Let's figure out what you enjoy. Like, what do you enjoy? And let's create a system around that. And then you can create, content around it and freebies and like all of that.
Yeah.
Because then when you're talking about it, you're going to be lit up. And that's what I've been trying to create my content around for POC recently. Like, I kind of took a pause because I was creating what I'm calling the called framework. But the point behind it being like, let's take your past, let's take your strength, let's take, your passion. Like, let's figure out what those are. So as you move forward into organizing, you kind of know because there's so many different ways you can go. Like
Yeah.
you could write a book, you could do, the possibilities are endless. And then the other thing I love about what you said is whether someone else out there is doing it or not, even if there was someone else that you had seen do it that like gave you the inspiration. Well, A, you're a different person than them. So you're going to do it differently. And B, on that, just because you've seen their stuff doesn't mean any person that's following you has seen that stuff. I think a lot of times we're afraid, like, oh, well, if I do it too much like someone else, or if I do something similar, everyone's going to know I'm a fraud. And I got it from that person, like, and so we get in our own heads and then we do nothing. And every single person that has an online business and that creates content got their inspiration from someone else, whether it's through not, like they got it from somebody else.
Mhm.
And so I think just remembering that and remembering that a lot of the time the answers are inward, not out wherever.
Right. For example, the marketing piece of marketing myself as a lifestyle organization coach. Those are words people don't put together. That I can't just go out of the corner and say, "Hey, I'm a lifestyle organization coach. Anybody want to hire me?" People don't know what that means. So I had to really dig deep and figure out the marketing piece behind that and how to talk to my clients and so I had clients in my mind who I know this would help. And I had to learn how to email about it and put reels out about it. And am I where I want to be? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, I met my goal. I have the number of clients that I'm comfortable with right now because I do offer like throughout the week, you can contact me and we can message about different things that you're having trouble with. So right now I feel maxed out because I'm still building it to the point that I love it, and I don't want to stress myself out over it. So when it's time to add in some more clients, I just have to go
Mhm.
back and use those marketing pieces again and maybe refine them a little bit, but just dig deeper into what already worked.
Yeah. Well, and I love that you said that because even me with like the strengthen your business course, like I got the idea of talking to you back in November, early December, and I was like, great, we're going to launch it January 1st. Here I go. And I went down this crazy, ridiculous rabbit trail. But, at first I was like, okay, well, even if I just get a couple of people this first time running it, it's going to give me feedback. It's going to give me testimonials. It's going to give me everything I need to grow it moving forward. And then, I can also set and kind of tweak it to what it needs to be for the cohort of people that are in it this year. And then from there, then I have a program. Then I have like a signature program moving forward. And so I love that you're keeping it at a place where you can really be super involved instead of just like, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to do it this way. And that's how I'm going to do it for everyone, assuming that you know the answers when that is not like the best market research is get someone in the door to do it with you and then figure out from there, like, what are they needing? But then also realizing just because they need that, the next person may not need that. The next person may be great at, time management, but awful at meal prepping or whatever that looks like for you.
Right. Yeah.
And so have you found, because I am curious on this, have you found that the mixing it, because I think you said you have one that's just online and then two that are in person and coaching. Have you found if one works better than the other yet, or are you still kind of trying to figure it out?
Well, my one that's completely virtual, we're nowhere near each other. She's a virtual client that I organized with, and so we're not even in driving distance. So it will continue to always be virtual. I don't see where the only difference that it makes is that because you see I'm talking with my hands, is I can put a piece of paper in front of somebody and I can point at things. But I mean, I can do that on my computer too. It's different sitting shoulder to shoulder with someone and kind of going over stuff though. That's the only difference. So, I mean, as far as the knowledge and the conversation and the trust factor that it's just, we're having this conversation and everything is cool. That's fine. It doesn't matter if it's virtual or in person. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we'll kind of wind up with this. So, two things. One, I would love for knowing what you know now, because now you're more of the expert instead of just getting started. So, what is a piece of advice that you would give someone, maybe not just brand new starting out, but maybe more of like where you were this time last year, right? Like they watched, they learned the business stuff, but now they're kind of like, okay, now what? Like, what kind of advice would you give to them?
So this time last year, I was in the phase of, giving my clients, how do I get clients? How do I maintain if I wanted inventory, like all those kind of things. I was swimming, but with floaties on, right? The big floaties. Now I feel like because I decided to focus on a few things and be super consistent with them. That's my biggest piece of advice. Don't try to do everything you hear. I tell my clients this that I'm coaching. Don't go pull every piece of advice you can get from the internet and try to put it all together. You're going to have to pick one or two things that you think, and all you're doing is you're hypothesizing, right, that they're going to work for you. And then drive it and be as consistent as you can, and probably for a good 6 months. Consistent, right? And then you can say, that didn't work for me. No foul, no harm, right? Just go on to the next thing that you want to try. But when you're throwing balls in the air and you're just hoping that any of them are going to land in the right spot, what I can tell is you're going to fall flat. Consistency is the number one thing that is going to drive your business and your mindset to the point where you're going to be successful. And success doesn't look the same for every one of us. I like where I am. I'm successful where I am. Am I running $1 million business? I am not. That does not look like success to me, and that is okay. The other thing is get yourself a coach. Get yourself somebody who's done it, been there, done that. They might not be doing the exact piece that you're doing, because I don't think you've done what I'm calling lifestyle organization coaching. I don't think you've done that.
Nope.
But you know how to coach me on the mindset and the business aspect of that. And when I'm having a moment of, I don't know how to set it up or I don't know how to move forward with it, you've got to have that person that you can bounce things off of who's a little bit ahead of you, and you are ahead of me. And so consistency and a coach.
The two C's. I love it. Well, and that's the other thing I love about our community, right? Because yes, me coaching someone, I can absolutely get you from like point A to point B, like lickety split, as long as you're doing your homework, like we can get it there. But the community piece is so amazing because there are certain things that I've not done, but someone else may be like, oh, I'm working on that right now. And then you're able to, there's a collaboration that starts to happen with other people. So you get coaching and collaboration.
Yeah.
When when you have a group of organizers because we all speak the same language. Like we all understand each other in a way that most people in our lives don't get what we're saying when we start talking about, the business stuff or the whatever. No, I love that. And so our new kind of motto at PSC, in my mind at least, has been keep it simple, plant seeds, and stay consistent. That literally sums up everything I've learned as a business, anything, like doing anything in business. Keep it as simple as you can, plant as many seeds as you can, but stay consistent. And I think the piece a lot of people miss is the stay consistent, or they stay consistent for a month or two, but they don't give it enough time of being consistent.
Agreed. And honestly, that consistency piece, that is what I'm seeing is bringing me clients now who have been my lurkers for over a year. I've got people like I got invited to an event today. I have not talked to the lady who I went to this event today for. I don't know. It's been well over a year that I've talked to her. And she's not DMing me. There's been no contact. And then all of a sudden I get invited to this big realtor event because she's still in my ecosystem. She's still watching things. So if I hadn't been consistent, if I fell off my social media or my email marketing or whatever, she wouldn't have my name in front of her. Like when she's thinking of, I need an organizer, I wouldn't have been that person that she thought of, that go-to person. So being consistent has brought me that opportunity. That's what I'm talking about, the consistency. You might not see the results right away. But once you start seeing the results of something, the seed that you planted a long time ago, you're going to realize that you're going to be more consistent.